and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest, where we are having some fair weather. I hope everybody has had a great week and is looking forward to a fantastic weekend. In this class, we are focusing on the IELTS reading section. This is taken from the academic version of the exam. However, for those students who are getting ready for the general exam, section 3 is very similar to the reading section of the academic. So hang in there. While we wait for some students to join up, a little bit of a preamble. This lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. Check us out there for the academic version of the exam to help you get ready. And for the general, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have loads of materials, over 100 hours of video lessons, a fully interactive course, and 6 original practice exams, with more exams coming out in the first half of next year. You can download our app, Academic IELTS Help, from your Google Play and iOS app stores, and our general IELTS app is on its way to the market, so you can check that out next week. Hi, Mauro. There's one of our members joining in. Students, this is a members chat class. It's one of the perks of being a member of our YouTube channel. We have some different membership levels. You can check those out. Hi, Hassan. Welcome to the class. If you have questions, you can always send me an email, Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. I know there are many students writing exams this weekend, so I wish you good luck if you're one of those students. Again, today in this class, we're looking at a reading passage followed by a task 1 diagram. Class that will be for everyone, meaning everybody can chat. And tomorrow we will have one more class for speaking part 1 to finish off this week. All right, so let's get into today's lesson. This is coming from our first exam book. This is test number 2. And here we are looking at the title, Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. When you read this title, Hassan, Mauro, what comes to mind? So what do you think this passage might be about, just when you're looking only at the title? Obviously here there's no picture to help. Tristan da Cunha is a name, of course. You may try to identify the origin of such a name. And then you have a little bit more information here to help you. Again, always use the title, students, to predict as much information as possible. So stay on mark. Use your critical thinking. The correct steps to getting high scores in your reading is first read the title and think critically about it. What does it mean? Why is it stated this way? What might be the information in the passage? So step 1, always read the title. And predict as much information as you can within a minute's time before you engage the passage. The example here is Tristan da Cunha. So Hassan says maybe the topic is about a specific island in France. Hassan, not bad. Okay, hi Roshni. Not bad. So you're thinking Tristan da Cunha is possibly French. Definitely what comes to mind is this is a Latin-based name. It's actually not French, Hassan, but not a bad try. So definitely Latin-based. You're not far off, Hassan. You're close, so it's a good prediction. What does the word remote mean in this context? So this word and this word, these two words are quite important. Again, whenever you see, of course, I'm sure you know the meaning of island. So think about remote and curiosity. What does remote mean? Preeti says it means rural. There you go, Roshni, very good. Roshni says this means isolated. So if we're talking about an isolated island, what do you imagine? So what do you visualize? What do you imagine when you're thinking about an isolated island? What comes to mind? And of course, don't forget about this second word here, curiosity. Okay, while I wait for those answers, let's take a quick peek at the questions following the passage. Okay, so Roshni says maybe not very populated, so not a lot of people. Preeti says far away from city life. Even a little bit more creative or imaginative, Preeti, far away from other countries. Okay. And Hassan says this island maybe has something unique from the word curiosity. Very good, Hassan, absolutely. So that's the minimum information that you should gather in your thoughts before you engage the passage. You should realize, okay, this passage is probably about an isolated island far away from other populations. Okay. So point one, this island is far from other populations and is isolated. Yeah. And the second point that you should realize is that probably there is some aspect of this island which is quite unique and interesting for people. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So that's the minimum. You should have that in your mind again before you start reading. So good. Now, hey, that's so fantastic. I just saw that. CR7 guy, you got a band 7.5. I'm so happy you've been a part of our group for the past few months, and I've seen so many of your comments, and really big thumbs up for you. I'm super happy you got that 7.5. Congratulations. That makes my day. You put a smile on my face. Thank you for sharing that with me, CR7 guy. If you have a minute, CR7 guy, send me an email. I know you have my email address. So send me an email and let me know how it went. 7.5 is fantastic. That means that you are between a good and very good user of English. So that's great. Super proud of you. Good for you. All right. Let's get back to it. So let's have a look at the questions. This first one, reading passage 1, has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Which paragraph contains the following information? So this is that matching information type question. And again, of course, as you remember from yesterday's class, this is one that we should read before the passage. So let's do it. The different types of money used on the island. Exam results of Tristan students. Discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. The island as an armed forces outpost. Geography of the island. Okay, so from these statements, we can see there are people on this island. The island is probably unique in some ways. There's something about money, something about exams, education, something about the original people, military. So obviously Some of this passage might be the history of the island and the people who live there. Great. Here we have the next question. Match the following places with facts about them from the passage. By the way, members, if you ever have questions during these live classes, just throw them into the chat. You should ask questions that are related to the topic, like reading passage or even specifically these questions. But if you have a question that might be a little bit off, it's fine. If I have time, I'll get to it. So at any time, don't worry, you won't interrupt me. You can ask me a question, okay? All right. So this one, you have to match names. This is a name matching. It could be names of people. In this case, it's the name of places. So you have to match information to names. This is a common type of question as well for the reading passage. So here we have Saint Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, and Portugal. Okay, so we have 4 different locations. So I can predict that the passage will include some information, not just about Tristan da Cunha, but also the 3 other locations. Took political control of the island in the 19th century, uses its own currency, home to Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, origin of the name Tristan da Cunha. Islanders had to be evacuated here after natural disaster and discovered the island. So again, more about the history. When you're reading these kinds of statements that you know are in the passage, you should realize that these are likely paraphrased. So as you read these, reflect on the paraphrasing. Okay, reflect on the paraphrasing. What I mean by that is think of, right away, what other words might be used in the passage. So instead of 19th century, what might you see in the passage? Okay. Instead of currency, what other word might you see in the passage? Instead of origin of, what other word might you see in the passage? And at home, write these down. When you're in the real exam, then you should be doing a memory search and bringing up the words as best as possible, okay, as much as possible. Paraphrasing is key to success on the exam. Thanks, CR7 guy. I'll look forward to that email. It's super cool. I'm, again, really, really stoked on your fantastic result. Okay. So, 19th century, this is sometimes confusing for students. It's not the 1900s, but it's the 1800s, right? So you might see 1800s in the passage. Okay. Instead of the word currency, you might see the word money, right? Instead of the word origin of the name Tristan da Cunha, you might see a phrasal verb like comes from. Okay. So those are the paraphrasings that come to mind. All right. So again, while you're going through these statements in your memory banks, paraphrase as much as possible, as quickly as possible, because it's likely you're going to see these terms. All right. Good, Hassan. You can see that you wrote money. Fantastic. All right. So far, so good. Let's look at the remaining questions. These are questions 11 and 12. Write the correct letter. So here we have two statements, and then we have we have 5 choices. So here we're going to ignore the choices. There's too many. 3 of them are false. And we're just going to look at the statements. Because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, okay, so number of people that move permanently is so small, so that gives us a hint, Hassan, that you mentioned earlier, that there's something unique about this island. There are likely not a lot of people living on this island. I think Preeti said something about that as well. So due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is, okay, so something about their language. It's fantastic. All right, great. So now we have a better idea of what's going on. So let's read, okay? Now, as I'm reading, what do I need to remember to do, especially for this kind of passage, which is quite physical? So here we're talking about an island, or we're reading information about an island. It's really important for me to remember to use this part of my brain. And what does that mean when I say that? You should always think about this. What do I need to do? Roshni, Hassan, Preeti? CR7 guy probably knows because he used a lot of strategies, I'm sure, in the exam like this, which is great. So I'm reading about an island, physical topic. Roshni says, use your occipital lobe. Yeah, not lobe, Roshni. It's lobe with a B. But yes, you're right. And using your occipital lobe, Roshni, means that you are visualizing, right? You're visualizing. You're seeing the information. Seeing the information. All right. Okay. So let's read together. This is reading class. This is reading practice. So read with me, members, viewers. Read aloud if you can. Listen to yourself. Again, I said this before, aloud reading is very, very important. Here we go. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There. Maximum size. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the South Pacific Ocean. This should be corrected. It's actually the South Atlantic Ocean. So let's do that one more time. Tristan da Cunha is an island in the South Atlantic Ocean formed by volcanic activity and part of the British Overseas Territory called St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is generally considered to be the most remotely inhabited place on Earth. Because of its extreme isolation and its small population, Tristan da Cunha is a fascinating experiment in sociology and genetics. Okay, so we are reading about the most remote inhabited place in the world. Immediately, you should see an island. Okay, maybe there's a palm tree on that island. Okay, and there we are. Hi, there I am with my beard, mustache, and so on. And I'm far, far away. There's nobody anywhere close by. Start your visualization. All right, immediately see this little island out in the South Atlantic Ocean, far, far away from everything. And it's an interesting place for sociologists and geneticists. Okay, let's keep going. The island was first discovered in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer named Tristão da Cunha, who named the island after himself. The name of the island was later anglicized by the inhabitants into Tristan da Cunha. In 1816, the United Kingdom annexed the island, taking control of it. They used it as a marine military base for a number of decades. in the 19th century before it fell into disuse after the construction of the Suez Canal. The Second World War, however, brought renewed purpose to the island. It was used as a top-secret British naval station codenamed HMS Atlantic Isle. The purpose of the station was to monitor the waters for German U-boats. All right, lots of visualization there. So when you read this paragraph, you should see the Portuguese captain, okay, nice big captain's hat. And the Portuguese captain is on the island, okay. Then you should see the British warships with their cannons. They take control of the island, and they're looking into the ocean for U-boats. U-boats, by the way, are the German submarines that were under the water, okay. So you should visualize all of that. Keep that in mind. Of course, we're rolling through the centuries here, but again, that's all in paragraph B. So practicing visualizing will improve your learning skills by tenfold. The best learners, high-level professionals, lawyers, doctors, they're all fantastic at visualizing. All right, so keep doing that. I promise I won't draw you a picture every single time, but just to remind you again of how to visualize. See, according to a recent consensus, the island has a population of just 263 people who mainly reside in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. It is thought that the residents of the island descend from just 15 ancestors, of which 8 were male and 7 were female. Because the reproduction pool is so small, the residents of the island suffer from a number of medical disorders. There is rampant asthma on the island, which is thought to be a result of the known fact that 3 of the original founders of the island suffered from asthma. Based on the endemic asthma afflicting inhabitants of the island today, it is thought that there is a genetic underpinning for the condition. Further evidence comes from islanders commonly suffering from glaucoma, a degenerative eye condition which, left untreated, can result in blindness. There are just 8 surnames among the 263 residents of Tristan da Cunha, corresponding roughly to the 8 original male ancestors. Since there is almost no emigration to the island, the surnames are kept intact for many generations. Education on the island is very limited. Children only attend school until the age of 15, with the option of taking the British standardized test for secondary school graduates once they have completed schooling. As a consequence of the low quality of education, standardized test scores are generally very poor. Another indication of the island's remoteness and relative lack of contact with the outside world is that the English spoken among its natives is very different from that spoken in the rest of the world. Hope you're visualizing. Arguably, one of the most interesting facts about Tristan da Cunha was that until the aftermath of the Second World War, the only currency in place was the potato. For example, the newspaper, the Tristan Times, could be purchased for 4 big potatoes. Today, Tristan da Cunha uses the British pound as its currency, which is odd because neighboring St. Helena, 2,173 kilometers away, of which Tristan da Cunha shares its status as a British overseas territory, uses the St. Helena pound and not the British pound. Since Tristan da Cunha was formed by volcanic activity, and the volcano which formed it is still active, the inhabitants of the island live in constant danger of volcanic eruption. The last such eruption occurred as recently as 1961, when all of the islanders had to be evacuated to England. While some communities around the world participate in fire, earthquake, or tornado drills, the residents of Tristan da Cunha participate in evacuation drills, where they practice the protocol for evacuation of the island in case of volcanic eruption. The Tristan economy is built mainly upon farming. All land is owned by the community. That is to say, there is no individual land ownership. Another significant part of the economy is the exportation of crayfish and lobster, mainly to Japan and the United States. A fire that occurred in 2008 greatly affected both the domestic and export economies. Tristanians are a fiercely proud and independent people. When given the choice to stay in England after exile due to the volcanic eruption, almost every resident returned to the island. Awesome. Here we go. Number one, which paragraph contains the following information? Let's do this together. Let's see how well you visualized and kept a memory log of what you saw in the passage. So the different types of money used on the island. What did you visualize? What was that different kind of money used on the island? Hopefully you saw this. It was a very interesting type of money. Which paragraph do you think it was? I hope you're still with me. Roshni says, I think it was the fourth paragraph. I think it was potatoes. Okay, so Roshni and Hassan both say the money that they're talking about is potato. And Roshni's saying maybe the fourth. Now here is where you can, Preeti says, it's paragraph E. So when you visualize, members, viewers, and you have a good idea of what it is, you can search for it, okay? So visualization helps you to effectively store information and search for it. So rather than just randomly skimming and scanning, when you have a good idea of the information, you can be much more effective searching, right? So here's the example. Okay, money used is potato. So I search for this around the middle of the passage, and watch how quickly you'll find it. Okay. So we go back, and you said maybe D, maybe E. Okay. So here we look at D. There are just 8 surnames. Okay, that's not it, right? We remember that. It's a short paragraph. E, education on the island is very limited. Okay, so this one I was visualizing education. Okay, and then F. Arguably one of the most interesting facts was that until the aftermath, the currency in place was the potato. Okay, so there it is, potato, F. Now you're sure about your answer. You knew it was somewhere in the middle correctly. And you said, okay, I know I'm looking for potato. So F it is. All right. Now watch how cool this strategy is, because it becomes really effective at this level. So exam results of Tristan students. Which one is that? So by looking for the currency, the potato, we've re-identified a couple more points just now. So which one was the exam results? Yeah, passage about education, which came just before. Roshni says it's E, correct. So it's F, it's E. Very good, Hassan. Absolutely. Great. Number 3, discussion of the original inhabitants of the island. What comes to mind? So what did you visualize here? So what did you see when when you were thinking about these original inhabitants? I know I had a really clear picture, at least a clear number in my head. Anybody remember that specific number? Yeah, so Hassan says it was something around 206. You said 262. I think it was 263, but who knows? They're in the 260s, yeah. Roshni says 236. It's fine. So that number now is really easy to look for, okay? So if I'm looking through the text, I'm moving through it nicely. Boom, there it is, right? Look how nicely we were able to find that. It's 263, but it doesn't matter. This number is really easy to look for. That's what you were visualizing. Fantastic. So you now know that, okay, that's D, right? Oh, sorry, careful. It appears in another time. This is when you have to be really careful. So according to a recent consensus, the island has a population of 263 people who mainly reside. It is thought that the residents of the island come from just 15 ancestors. So you have to do a little bit more thinking. Careful with the 263. But anyway, not bad. So FEC, C. The reason I was a little bit skeptical about D is because it's too short. Okay, the paragraph is too short. So don't be too quick to choose your answers, okay? Careful, FEC. Okay. The island as an armed forces outpost. That one should be really easy because I drew a picture for you. So number 4, the island as an armed forces outpost. Which paragraph was that? That should be an easy one. That's right, Hassan. That's right, Roshni. Yeah, when the British were looking for the U-boats, right? So that's going to be paragraph B. Yeah, they took it from the Portuguese and used it as a military outpost. Okay, geography of the island. This one's going to be fairly simple. Geography means the location, what it looks like. When you're the author, where would you discuss the location of the island? So again, this is where you can use your logic. And Hassan says, use logic for your reading passage. The title is Tristan da Cunha, an island of remote curiosity. Where would you talk about the geography of the island if you wrote this essay? Where would that make the most sense? Yeah, that's right, in the introduction, of course, right? So if I'm writing an essay about an island that's unique and remote, it makes sense to put that information in the introduction of the passage, okay? So good, FE. Now, here, let's say that I chose D. I made a mistake there, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 correct. You're still on path to a very good band score, okay? You don't have to get a flawless score. Even a band 9 is not necessarily flawless. You can still make a mistake. 39 out of 40. It's important to be confident in your answers and just keep moving along, okay? All right, so here we go. You may use any letter more than once. St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, Portugal. Members, viewers, it's really important that you're not searching for every single answer. That is a really bad strategy on the IELTS exam. It pains me to see when students are searching for every answer in the text, okay? Yes, Roshni, I do make it fairly Oh, thank you, CR7 guy. I appreciate that, all right? You're awesome. I do make it easier for you, Roshni, but it's just as easy if you follow this logic, if you practice it, okay? All right. So took political control of the island in the 19th century. So in the 1800s, they took control of the island. Who was that? Who took control of Tristan da Cunha? That's right, Hassan. United Kingdom. Make sure you don't write United Kingdom, but you put C into the answer sheet. Very good. Okay, awesome. Uses its own currency. Which of these islands was like, oh, okay, they use their own money for number 7? Uses its own currency. St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, United Kingdom, Portugal. Yeah, it was St. Helena, right? They used the St. Helena pound. Sure. Okay, number 8, home to Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. That one should be fairly easy. Okay. What is home to Edinburgh of the Seven? That's right. Very good, Preeti. Yeah, it's Tristan da Cunha. The passage says that's where most people live. Okay, hopefully you kept that in mind. That was very clear. They said on Tristan da Cunha, most people live in the settlement known as Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. Okay, origin of the name Tristan da Cunha. Again, you should not have to search for these kinds of questions. So if you're searching for these, you're really following a poor strategy. You should not have to search for these. So number 9, origin of the name Tristan da Cunha. Where does it come from? Obviously not Tristan da Cunha for that one. Tristan da Cunha comes from, that's right, Preeti, Portugal, right? The Portuguese captain, remember? Army matey. No, he wasn't a pirate. I don't know why I just said that, but anyway, he was a Portuguese captain who said, my name's Tristão da Cunha, and I'm going to call this island Tristão da Cunha. All right? So it's D. Comes from Portugal. I mean, the name, it makes sense, right? Number 10. Islanders had to be evacuated here after natural disaster. So when the volcano exploded, all of the people on the island had to get out of there. They fled. Evacuate means to rescue the people from one place or to move them quickly from one place. Where did they go when the volcano erupted? Okay, this is where they went from. Had to be evacuated here. It means they had to go here. Yeah, so Roshni says they had to go to England. England is in the United Kingdom, right? I don't know if it was London, but it was definitely England, and that's in the UK. So C, A, B, D, C, right? Careful with directions. So islanders had to be evacuated here after a natural disaster. If it says islanders had to be evacuated from after a natural disaster, then it would be Tristan da Cunha. Be really careful with those prepositions and location markers, okay? Those can easily cost you a mark if you're not paying attention. So pay close attention. All right, we're making some good speed here. One last question there. Discovered the island. What nationality or what country, if we will, discovered the island? This should be fairly simple. Again, you should not be searching for the answer. Yeah, Roshni, the word here is very important in number 10. Absolutely. In number 10, the word here is extremely important. It's the subject of the sentence, right? Okay, the last one. Discovered the island. A, B, C, or D? Yeah, Roshni, be sure you have the right idea. It's the captain. Yeah, Hassan, of course. It's Portugal. The Portuguese discovered the island. Yeah. So it's the captain, yeah. It's the original captain. Tristão da Cunha is the captain. Be confident. Students, it's really important to be confident in your answers, especially because Statistically, it's shown by psychologists that most of the time when you feel you have the right answer, it is the right answer. Okay? All right. This type of question you should try to figure out on your own and then choose the correct ending. So here it says, because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, what? So how can you finish this sentence? Because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, what? There's a few different kinds of information. There are different kinds of diseases like asthma and glaucoma on the island. As well, what else? As well, A, Roshni says, the last names remain the same for generations. And that's correct, okay? Also, one that might not be here is that they have a unique dialect of English. This is not correct, very different from other versions of English because the grammar doesn't match. So for this one, members, for these questions, one important point to keep in mind is that whatever one you choose, the grammar has to match, okay? So it's a good idea to actually put it at the end and read the whole sentence together. So because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, last names remain the same for generations. Grammatically, that's correct. Okay? Because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, very different from other versions of English, grammatically, it's incorrect. The information is correct, it's true, but grammatically it's wrong. So that's why it cannot be C. Okay? If it were, there's never two correct answers, but if it were because the number of people that move permanently to the island is so small, there is a very different dialect of English, then that could be a correct answer, but they'll never do that. Okay? So if you see two answers that seem to be correct, check which one is grammatically accurate, and that one is the right answer. Is that clear? Okay. I'll even make a note for that for this class, just a specific question strategy. To discover more specific question strategies like this, you can find that on in your premium course on the website. Okay. So matching sentence endings question strategy. Okay. The full sentence after you match the right ending must be grammatically accurate. Grammatically accurate. If it is not, even if the information is correct, it is not the right answer. So keep looking. Okay, careful. One of the really common mistakes with that type of question is students find an answer that looks correct, the information looks correct, so they're like, oh, okay, it's that one. And then they don't even continue reading the other options, and they get it wrong because they don't realize that the grammar doesn't match. So it's kind of a tricky question. It's not just the information that has to match correctly, but the grammar has to match as well. Keep that in mind, okay? It's a really important point. For these questions, both the information and the grammar must be correct, okay? It's an important piece of advice for these types of questions. All right, number 13. Due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is Asthma is very rare. That doesn't make sense. Due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is continually developing. That grammar is correct, but the information is wrong. Due to its remoteness, the dialect of Tristanians is often confuses to outsiders. That might be correct information, but it's bad grammar. D, continue, or C, very different from other versions of English. Absolutely. Preeti, Roshni, Hassan, good. Yeah, it's C. Okay, is very different from other variations of English. Good. Okay, so again, the main points from today's lesson are visualize, use your visualization to effectively search the text for the correct answers. You don't have to read the text too fast, but you do have to read it. You don't have to understand all of the text. You just have to understand about 70-80% of it. Remember to use the title to help you predict and the questions as well. Okay? Especially keywords in the title like remote and curiosity. That's it for today's class, members. Thank you for your participation. CR7 guy, I'm not sure if you're still with us, but thank you so much for coming back and sharing your success story. That always, I think, encourages other students. It definitely encourages me and makes me happy as well as my colleagues. Fantastic. Coming up in 30 minutes, task 1 diagram, sample, essay, and practice. Everybody will be able to join and chat, participate in the class. You're very welcome, Preeti. Viewers, again, remember to check us out at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com for our premium package. We do have Black Friday and Cyber Monday special discounts of 40% going on. If you didn't get that email, just send me a message to adrian@aehelp.com and I can send you our Cyber Monday and Black Friday coupons for our premium package. All right, students, see you shortly. That's all for now. NA, join the next class. Bye.